So, in 2026, something pretty important is happening here in the Netherlands, the municipal elections. Now, if you're an expat from India, this whole system might feel a little bit familiar, but also completely different at the same time. This is your guide to what it's all about, and trust me, why it's way more important to your daily life than you'll probably think.
All right, so let's get right to it. Why should you even care about local elections? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. Your day-to-day life here is shaped a lot less by the big political drama in The Hague and way more by what happens right on your street.
I mean, really think about it. The condition of the bike paths you ride on every day, the quality of your kid's school, how your trash gets picked up, the parks and green spaces in your neighborhood, even things like local business rules and housing policies. All of that is decided right here at the municipal level. These are the things that make up your quality of life, and local elections are where the power to change them is.
Okay, so let's dive into how this whole system actually works. At the very heart of it all, there's one key term you've got to know, the Gemeenteraad.
And just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, on March 18, 2026, elections are going to be held in 333 different municipalities, or gemeentes they're called. You can think of each one as the engine room for its own community, the thing that powers daily life.
And here's the most important part. Every 4 years, it's the residents who vote to elect their municipal council, the Gemeenteraad. This council, it's the highest local authority, period. They're the ones setting local taxes, deciding on city planning, and managing everything from social programs to green initiatives. It's all very practical, super local, and incredibly powerful.
All right, so imagine you've gone to the polling station, you've cast your vote. Now what? Well, the process of turning all those ballots into an actual functioning government, that's where the Dutch system gets really interesting.
Now, this is probably the biggest difference you need to wrap your head around. In these elections, you're not voting directly for a mayor. Nope. Instead, you're voting for a political party and the platform they represent. Your vote helps decide how many seats that party gets on the council.
So once all the votes are in and counted, that's when the real political work kicks off. First, all the parties that won seats start talking to each other, negotiating. Their big goal is to team up and form a coalition that controls the majority of seats. And once they've got that agreement, they appoint an executive team to handle the day-to-day business of the city.
And honestly, this whole process gets right to the heart of Dutch politics. It's all about consensus and compromise. It's like this intricate dance of negotiation, all to build a stable government. It's not about one party winning it all. It's about different groups finding a way to work together.
So, what about the mayor, the burgemeester? Okay, here's the big twist. The mayor isn't elected by the people at all. They're actually appointed by the national government, and their role is to be a neutral leader for the council and head of public safety. Their job is to manage, not to push a political agenda.
Okay, to make all of this crystal clear, let's put it side by side with a system that might be a bit more familiar. How does all this Dutch stuff compare to local democracy back in India? Well, the differences are pretty huge.
So let's break this down. In the Netherlands, you vote for parties and their policies. In India, it's often more about voting for an individual person. But the biggest difference might be the power. Here, municipalities have real financial and legal clout. In India, that power often rests with the state government, which can leave local bodies struggling for funds. And, like we said, coalition politics, that's just the norm here.
And it's not just the system. It's the whole vibe of the elections. It's just worlds apart. Dutch campaigns are usually pretty calm, practical, and focused on specific local issues. You'll see debates and flyers. Compare that to India, where local elections can be incredibly intense, driven by personalities, very emotional, with the huge rallies and posters everywhere.
All right, so that brings us to the million-dollar question. Can you actually take part in all of this? Let's talk about who gets to vote. And the good news is, the rules are surprisingly simple. If you're an EU citizen and you're registered, you can vote. Simple as that. If you're a non-EU citizen, say from India, you can also vote as long as you've lived here legally for at least 5 years straight. And of course, you're registered with your local municipality.
And I really want to hammer this point home. You do not need Dutch nationality. You don't need a Dutch passport to have a say in your local community. It's your long-term residency here that gives you a voice.
This just goes to show how inclusive the Dutch system is, especially at the local level. It's all built on this really simple, fair idea. If you live here, if you're part of the community, you should get a say in how it's run.
But wait, it gets even better. Get this, the very same rules that let you vote also mean you can run for office. No, seriously, if you meet those residency requirements, you can actually stand for a seat on your local council. Participation isn't just something they encourage, it's wide open.
Okay, let's pull all of this together. Why does understanding this calm, sometimes complex system really truly matter for you, living your life here in the Netherlands?
It's because these elections are where the future of your neighborhood gets decided. They're what determine local integration policies, how the city tackles the housing crisis, and really, at the end of the day, they define your quality of life here. These aren't just abstract political ideas, they have a direct impact on your world. And you know what? Even if you're not eligible to vote just yet, understanding how the system works is a powerful tool in itself. It means you can follow local debates, you can ask the right questions, and you know where the real decisions that affect you and your family are actually being made. So, as we look ahead to 2026, here are a few key dates to keep on your radar. The deadline for parties to register is late 2025, nomination day is in early February, and the big one, voting day, is March 18th, 2026.
Look, it all boils down to this. Dutch local democracy might seem quiet, but it is incredibly powerful. It shapes the city you live in and the life you're building here. So paying attention, that's not just some civic duty. It's a real investment in your own future in the Netherlands.